Hey folks, ET here coming at you with the week ahead. Today we're going to cover Apple, XOM, and Meta. All shorts really in my book, depending on price action throughout the market and if we see a pretty heavy bounce. So we're going to start with Apple here, and I tweeted about this earlier. Put positioning is slowly increasing on the customer side, and we're also seeing call positioning drop pretty drastically right now. It's hung tight around these levels. Let's go ahead and take a look at its support resistances. It's got around this 190 a few times and bounced off. It's also struggled a little bit if you just roll your cursor over a little bit. It's struggled around that 180 as well. So what I'd really like to see is honestly a small break above to the 180 for shorts. I will entertain some at 177.56. I'd like to point out that it does have a strong October, and we're only in our last few weeks of the potential September seasonality downside. So I do not want to be shorting it for too long and causing too much issue with that. But for now, I would love to see a revisit to this 163. We can kind of change our time frame a little bit, which will give us its algo flow instead, and see if there's any other levels that we could see to watch here. 173 is a little bit lower or a little bit higher than what I'm looking to go. We've visited that a few times, but we've bounced pretty hard. What I'd like to see is I'd like to just kind of come out and find some levels that match up pretty well with some gamma like I like to do. It is showing some bearish customer positioning for the next few weeks, which is good. Its largest gamma pull is around 170, 172.5. Right around here is where I'm eyeing it. And if we kind of go back out to that daily chart, we can see there's been plenty of price contention around there. There's that 170, 171 area. So 172.5 for me. I know we're at 174.79, but what I'm looking for is a pop before I do so, and then start to trim my cons around that area for there. So that's just kind of what I'm looking at. Its dealer deltas are up to the upside, which does mean downside for Apple. That is how their back test goes, but they're not as strong as some others. So I'm just kind of playing this last 2 weeks of potential downside. Obviously, I would love this 163.76 that the AI draws automatically here for us, and as you can see, lots of price contention around there. I'd love that on my shorts from a pop, but I will take what I can get. Next up, let's take a look at XOM. Kind of drawn this out a little bit and taking a look. Its dealer deltas are down, which does, I think, mean some upside for XOM. It's got a gamma around 110, which obviously we kind of want to check our gamma and take a look to see if it matches up with support resistance, because those are always going to be historical and more important on our things, but when they do match up roughly, that is quite helpful. So a 110 gamma, a 105 SR level. I would really like to see XOM pop back up to the 117, maybe 118 area, but a reject off this 117 or even high 116s will have me swing short into some 110s for a little bit. It is in a bearish customer positioning going into the next week as well. This video is pretty short today, just giving you a quick rundown of what I'm watching. Let's go ahead and check some of its other things. Let's see what its customer calls and puts are looking like. Still pretty strong on the customer call side, which oil has been running, but as you can see, this big spike in puts right here could have just been for this downtrend day, and it could obviously rip back upwards, but like I said, anytime I'm looking to short, I'm not looking to short a breakdown of anything, although a breakdown of this 113 strong could lead to some good downside. What I'm looking for is a short off of a pop, so I would like to see it get up to 116, 117, 118, and then short it from there. So let's go ahead and jump into Meta really quick and just take a look and see what it's looking like. It is hanging somewhat tough. Obviously, it's $30 down from where it was, and its customer put position is increasing drastically as we're going along right now, which is pretty interesting to see. Let's go ahead and take a look at its customer calls. They are shrinking, and let's just take a look real quick at its support resistance levels. It has some downside towards 295. Losing that is a big gap. There's obviously some other levels in here. We've seen some price contention right around this spot here at 266-ish. There's some more at 275. You can see quite a bit. So I'm not looking to short it for $20 down, although that would be wonderful and quite amazing to do so. If you're looking at its gamma, its biggest gamma pull is still around 302. So that kind of lines up with it sticking around this 300 area here. Let's go ahead and drill down a little bit. into some shorter time frames and see what we see here, to see if there's any levels that we should keep an eye on. So there's that 295 again. What I would really love is another pop to 303. Looking left, we can see how much price point contention we've had around that 303. So that is where my trading view alert is set. I've got one set for 303 and one set for 306. I will recheck its algo flow, which is actually looking somewhat decent. It spiked up there near the end of the day. I'll recheck its algo flow at 303 and 306, see what it looks like. Check market direction as well to see if we're in a downtrend or an uptrend day. If we're in an uptrend day, folks, I just ignore it. I just sit on it and let it do its thing and go up. Might even flip long for a while, but keep that short thesis as I go along with it. But when I see these rejections happen, I will play a week or two out, some shorts somewhere within the range. So if the range is, let's say, 306 to 295, I'm not buying 295s out here. That's just too far out. I will probably buy something closer to 302.5s if they have them, or 303s, depending on where we reject. So that's keeping an eye on Meta there. Let's go ahead and take a look at how it does throughout time. It has a pretty strong October in comparison to its September, which is very weak. So this is a good last few weeks to get some short side towards it. I obviously would love that 295, and if we're going to go ahead and look at that daily again, I would very much like to see that massive drop down to the 207, but I'm not sure that's going to happen in the next 2 weeks. Those are the three that I'm watching for this week for the short side. I don't have many long side targets. I will scalp longs throughout the day, depending on the direction of MNF and if there's any divergences building on the charts page. But I'm still in a short the pop mode for the rest of September. I use 20% stops, and I use trails in all my plays. So if I'm wrong, at least my trail protects me from not having more than a 20% loss. Everybody have a good day. Stay safe out there, and I will see you tomorrow on Twitter and in the Discord.